for the day. I'm going to do a couple things and then just give you guys the rest of the time to work hard. But I want to talk to you about the OST version of the Desmos graphing calculator. During the last class, I finally pulled up the testing calculator so I could say exactly when, or roughly when. The earliest we might be taking the OST for Algebra 1 would be April 19th. That's 7 weeks away, but of course, one of those 7 weeks is our spring break. So that's like 6 weeks. And who knows how much of that 6 weeks is going to be figuring out how to do life in a school building. So there's all kinds of silly things between now and that 7 weeks away OST. And there is no reason for us. I'm not bringing up the OST for us to get worked up about it. We're going to take it. We've had the craziest school year anybody could ever imagine. So do not get yourself like, oh my gosh, I got to know all this stuff. No, we're going to know what we know. We're going to make sure that we cover as much as we can by the time we get there. You will do as well as you can do on it. That's all that would be expected of you. So do not get yourself stressed about it. Okay. But I only brought all that up because there is a different version of the Desmos graphing calculator. It just has a few restrictions on it that aren't on the one we've been using. And so I want us to switch over to that. Let me do a couple things real quick. One is if I go to our Google Classroom and just point out where I've put it, it's clear up at the top of our helpful information list now. So, and I'll even point out if you get to it this way, I'm going to give you the direct link to it in just a second, but if you get to it this way, here, this is the link to that helpful information section of our Google Classroom. Not that you necessarily have to have it, but that would be a way to get here. This link is a document that tells you what's different about it. Most of you probably don't even care, but that's what that link up there is. It's this one that says Desmos testing that's going to get you to the actual calculator. And I'll put this link in. So here's the link to the actual calculator. I would encourage you to bookmark that. You know, when you go to a place, you can click on the star over here in the Chrome browser, and that's how you can bookmark it. You see, it's just today I suddenly made it show up in my bookmarks bar by doing that. So I would definitely encourage you to bookmark it because we're going to be using it like it's the very best friend I've ever had. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Aside from that, I want to walk through I made a 10 problem ALEKS assignment today, but even though it's 10 problems, it's really short between using that Desmos calculator. So we're going to learn a couple new things about that. That's what might take us a minute or two to capture, but once you know how to do that, it's going to make it so fast and easy, it's crazy. And then there isn't any reason that we can't let Mark go in instead of Miss Madden. You're muted. Oh, here he comes. All right.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say, I was just getting ready to tell you I was going to let him in, but I didn't want to interrupt you.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you. So we'll walk through that. There is one other new thing. Hello there, Marco. I started to say good morning, and I was like, is it morning? We're going to talk X and Y intercepts. So this is our learning intention. I can graph a line using a table of values, and I'm telling you, Desmos is going to make that so easy for us. It's just going to be phenomenal. I'm not going to go through the success criteria because I want you guys to have as much time as I can give you to work. So here we go. I'm going to take my something or another somehow, somewhere. Sorry about that. Here, let me do this over here real quick. So I'm gonna stuff this ALEKS assignment over to the left half of my screen, and then I'm gonna put this Desmos calculator on the right half. I might just mention one more thing. If I go to the regular Desmos calculator, the way we normally get to it through the graphing calculator button, it's not that we can't use that anymore, guys, but I just want to point out here I've got a black bar. It says Desmos in the middle and this stuff over here. But when I'm using this calculator, It's got a green bar and it says Ohio OST version. So that's how you know you're using the calculator that we want to use. It's only because if we get used to certain aspects of the regular one, I'm not going to show them to you. I was, but let's just keep moving forward. There are certain things that this will do for us that this won't. There are ways to do it with the OST version, and that's what we need to understand. I don't want you to get used to doing things a particular way on the version we have been using, and then you're in the middle of taking the test, you try and do what you're used to, and you're like, oh crap, it doesn't work. Why not? Well, let's just solve that by making sure we're using this version now. Okay, so back to our nice little assignment. The first three problems are just like problems from yesterday's stuff, but I want to show you how to do a problem like this table version with the calculator. I forgot to show that to you real quick. I'm just going to remind you. This is what we did yesterday. We stuffed the X values in and calculated the Y values and put them in the table. I definitely want all of us to be able to do it that way. But there's an easier way. Y equals negative 10x plus 3. Y equals negative 10x plus 3. So if you didn't already start typing that, sorry, I don't know why my caps lock is on. Y equals negative 10x plus 3. It wouldn't have really mattered, I don't believe, but it bothered Mr. Reed too much. So I have that typed in. Would all of you please type it in? Because if, again, I'll put the link to the Desmos calculator in the chat one more time for anybody that came in after I did that. This is the OST version of the Desmos calculator. So if you will do this with me, then you'll know how to do this. If you just watch me do it in a little while, if you decide you want to do this, you're going to be like, Mr. Reed, how'd you do that? So do it with me. And that way, like last period, somebody was like, but Mr. Reed, that won't work for me. And we were able to figure it out together real quick, which probably helps some other people in the class. All right, so I've got this equation typed in. Now up here, we got the double arrows that would make all these equation graph is bigger. That's not what I want right now. But right next to those double arrows is this gear. If I hover over it, it says edit list. I'm going to click on that gear. Then it gives me a couple options with that equation I just entered. I could just duplicate it if I wanted to. That would just keep making that same equation again. That's kind of convenient to be able to do sometimes. But right now, it's this convert to table button I want. So I'm going to take my equation and I'm going to click on this convert to table button. And voila, I have it in table form. Now I'm going to go one step further. The X values in this table say negative 1, 0, 1, and 5. Some of those are in here, some of them not. But I want to make it look just the same way so my brain doesn't have to think real hard as I fill in the values. Because I'd probably be likely to accidentally put a 23 in this top corner, but this is negative 1, so it needs the 13. So I'm just going to change my values. Pretty simple. I click on the X value. Either you need to make sure you highlight it, or you can just use the backspace button to get rid of it. And after negative 1 was a 0, and then I need my 1, and then I need a 5. And again, for my brain's sake, I'm deleting the one I didn't need. So now you see my X values over here are the same as my X values in that table ALEKS has given me. And that means I have all my Y values right here. Desmos is just plugging in the X values and calculating it for me. Bam. Now the only thing that's going to cause me to have a wrong answer is a typo when I typed my equation in, or me copying these values over in the wrong order or something. That's why I changed my X values to make my life easier. Okay. So this first time it took us quite a while because I was trying to help make sure people understood what to do. Before I let ALEKS check this, do anybody have questions about what I've done so far? We're going to do this kind of thing another time or two, so you don't have to be too concerned. But do we have questions? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and let ALEKS check that for me. We got it correct because Desmos is kind of smart. Now, I just want to point out, this is the only one that's exactly like this, meaning it's an equation and I'm supposed to fill in a table of values. But you can try this as many times as you want. I already got it right, but if I click try another, It's going to give me another one and let me try it again. It's going to do that as many times as I want to do that. So you can practice lots working on ALEKS. 2 and 3 are the ones where they give us input and output values and then ask us to write the rule. And you can tell from what they give us over here that it's going to be one of these 4 operations: add, subtract, multiply, or divide. When I look at this going from 5 down to a 1, I'm going to try what seems easy to me, a minus situation. 5 minus 4 is 1. If I do that with a 6, 6 minus 4, yep, that gives me 2. 8 minus 4 would give me 4. I had a flashing going on that was distracting me. All right, so I simply did the input minus 4, so the input's now a letter N, and I'm still going to do minus 4. Check it out, and ALEKS says, yep, I'm happy. Number 3 is just like that. So that's not really something I'm going to be able to use Desmos to completely do for me, but if you wanted to check your calculations, of course, you could use Desmos for that. So here's the first one where we're actually going to graph a line using a table of values. So I'm going to go ahead and walk through the process of doing this table one more time. Micaiah, can you turn on your camera real quick? And also, Micaiah, I just tried to, and I think I did, just stick the link for this calculator. Hey, Micaiah, thanks so much. So I am going to go ahead and type in this y equals 3x plus 2, y equals 3x plus 2. And you see it's already graphed the line for me, which is what I'm being asked to do. But we're trying to learn how to do it from a table of values. So I'm going to go right ahead, go back to this button that it looks like a gear, click on this, convert to a table, and now I've got ordered pairs. You see that this graph that I'm using right now, they're only giving me the top right corner of the coordinate plane. So in Desmos, it would be just this top right area over here. But in terms of x values, it's all the x values that start with 0 and go on up. So looking at this table of values, I'm not going to be able to make use of these first 2 right now, but the 0, 1, and 2 will help me out. I only need any 2 points that are on the line to graph this line. So, you know, like if I wanted more x values, I can just keep clicking down here and putting in more x values. I can use any 2 of those starting at the 0 to graph it. It doesn't matter what 2 I pick. I'm just starting with the 0, graphing 0, 2, and then I'm going to use the 1 and graph 1, 5. So 0 on the x-axis is right here, but if you just want to make sure you know where the heck 0, 2 goes, we'll come over here, click on it, and it'll leave the ordered pair right there for you so you can see, oh yeah, I don't go anywhere left or right, I'm going straight up 2. So I'm going to click on this line tool, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to go up 1, 2, and make a point in the same place. So now I've made a point there. I just got to make a second point. It doesn't matter, guys. You can use any one of those. I'm doing the very next one, though. 1, 5. So looking at it over here, 1, 5. Yup, it's what I thought. I go right 1 and up 5. And so right 1 and up 5 puts me right there. And now I've graphed this equation using a table of values. What's really nice that people, at least a few years before you sure would have been used to, is you didn't have to just write on your paper a table and put XY at the top of it, and then choose X values, and then plug those X values in and calculate each Y value, and then plot each of those points, and then find a straight edge to draw the line with. You just got out a whole lot of stuff, and hopefully you're potentially going to end up understanding it better because our technology is doing a lot of that little stuff for you, and we can think about the bigger picture. Okay, any questions how we accomplish this? I'll go ahead and let ALEKS check that out for me. And I could do lots more. I could try more here. I know number 5 is another one of the same type of problem. I believe number 6 is the first one where we'll actually have the whole coordinate plane instead of just the first quadrant. See, now we got quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. So that doesn't matter a whole lot other than it looks more like what's going on over here with Desmos. Instead of completely remake the table this time, I'm going to show you there is a nice little fancy shortcut. The equation is y equals 3x. Notice the equation that we used before was y equals 3x plus 2. But the y equals part isn't up here in this column of the table. But I can just replace only what comes after the equal sign, only the 3x. So if I click up there, I can delete everything that was there. But now I can type in that 3x, and I have a new table of values for this y equals 3x line. The line's already graphed. Got a whole table of values. I can use any 2 of those values. I guess 515 might not work because I don't go clear up to 15 on this graph over here, but the rest of them I could use. Here we go. I'm going to use the one that's really easy to find, origin at 0, 0. And then I'm going to use this 1, 3. Here's 0, 0 over 1 up 3. There's that 1, 3. Here's my line tool. I'm at 0, 0. I'm then going to go over 1 and up 3 for that second point. And voila. So I just graphed this 0, 0 and this 1, 3 to create my line. It would have been fine if I had graphed -2, -6, and 3, 9. Any 2 points will do the job, and ALEKS will be happy with it. It's always going to be the same line. If I look real quick, -2, -6, -2, -6, check that out. It's right there on the line. If I try for 3, 9, I'll go over here to 3 and up to 9. Sure enough, 3, 9 is right there on that line. Okay. All right. What do you think, Alex? How did I do? Hey, you said I got it correct. But I'm having so much fun, I'm going to try another one. Not. Who wants to try another one anyway? Okay, the last 3 are about identifying the x-intercept and the y-intercept. And all that is where the line crosses the x-axis, that's your x-intercept. And where the line crosses the y-axis, that's your y-intercept. I want to point one more thing out about ALEKS. You know these handy dandy little eyeglasses? That's how you can get an explanation. And when you click on it, it says, oh, well, you're going to lose your current question attempt. We're going to say, well, I really don't care because I can do as many of these as I want. Okay, take it away from me. We're going to look at this explanation real quick. But I just want you to realize, yeah, right now it says I got the question wrong. But in case you didn't realize it, we're going to be able to fix that very easily. So find the x and the y-intercept below. The x-axis is that one going left and right. This blue line crosses this x-axis at -2. So I would usually ask people to write this ordered pair. I need to go to the x value -2 and the y value of 0. But ALEKS is only asking you to write the number where it crosses the x-axis. The actual x-intercept is -2. Then the y-intercept is just where it's crossing the y-axis. So I'm going to just write the number 3 because that's where it's crossing, even though the actual ordered pair for that point would be an x value of 0 and a y value of 3. Okay, so I'm now going to click this little button that says return to the question. It's in the left no matter where I scroll to. And it's trying to tell me I got it incorrect, but I don't care because I'm going to try another. And this time, my x-intercept, just make sure you're looking at the x-axis, is a +1. So I'm just going to type 1 for x-intercept. My y-intercept, where it's crossing the y-axis, is a -2. So I'm going to click down there, type -2, and let ALEKS check my answer. Hey, now I've got it correct. And it didn't matter that I let it count me wrong on the explanation because now it's counting me right. All right. Do we have any questions out there? All right. One more time. I'm just going to say, if I've got an equation That's y equals something. I can type in y equals, let's say it's a negative 3x plus 2. Then the way I can get a table of values for that equation is my little gear button, and click on the little table icon, and you've got a table of values. Then you can change your x values as much as you want, and it will calculate the corresponding y value. Okay. Okay. Any questions while I'm creating breakout rooms?